Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for watching the Storytelling Alchemist show. I am very excited to have my guest on tonight. He was actually a part of a conference I did at Sacred Lands in St. Petersburg, Florida. I guess it'd be more of a festival that I did called Celebrating Infinite One. That's back in 2014. We've known each other a number of years because we went to the same spiritual development class for many years. I'm excited to have the founder of DrumQuest come on the line. His name is Jimbo Talbot, and you guys are just going to love him. He's just an incredible person, and I've had many shifts spiritually by just knowing him as a person. So please welcome Jimbo. Hi, Jimbo. How are you?
I'm very well. That sounds so nice. Thank you for inviting me to be here this evening with you, Jeremy. And thank you again. It's great to revisit our history. We have quite a lot of history, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. And it's been just a beautiful journey. And one of the things I was thinking about preparing for tonight, I was thinking about this. One of my favorite stories, to be quite honest with you, is my friend Robert Austin was doing a crystal singing bowls demonstration. And we had 45-minute sets for everybody, and he was going over because he was in the moment, right? And I remember you walked up to me and you said, let him keep going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the other stage and I'm going to play a light guitar. And when they start hearing the sound, they'll start coming out, and I'll have all the drums set up. And what was so beautiful is my intention for that festival was to have people be where they were supposed to be at the right and perfect time, because I was trying to, instead of talking about flow, I was trying to demonstrate flow. And that moment when you did that, and sure enough, we had about 80 people. They started migrating out and started slowly picking up drums. And you guys had an incredible experience. And that impression stuck with me. But it's 8 years? It stuck with me for 8 years. So an incredible time. So let's talk about what you do. I didn't even know that you sung opera for years. Or you're a vocalist. I just found that out reading your bio.
Yes, long ago. I was born in a musical family, and we're all musicians, but some of us have been fortunate to be in a family that music is expressed routinely. And so that was something that I was raised in. And so my family all sung in a church choir, and music just came very naturally to me. And so in all honesty, I was torn as a teenager between doing sports, becoming a writer. And I thought I could be a sports writer. But then my sister said, but you've got a really beautiful voice. Why don't you audition for music school? So I did both. And I didn't get accepted into sports writing, but I got accepted into music school. So I guess I was meant to go into opera. And that was just a beginning doorway into a life in music. It lasted for a while, and I liked it, but I didn't feel really at home in myself. So there's more to that as we go on during this time.
So that's incredible. So what brought you into the percussion aspect of that, and DrumQuest specifically? What brought you into DrumQuest?
Sure. Well, again, way back, I have memories of Sunday afternoons after church, after everybody sang in church and we go for Sunday drives. My dad left a tap on the window pane and on the windshield, around the dashboard. And so those rhythms just stuck with me. And when I was 12 and singing in a group in an elementary school, somebody had a snare drum, and I picked it up, and I just I liked that drum sound kept calling to me, but I had the voice. So fast forward to about 20 years ago, I had moved to Florida, and I was working in experiential education. We'd have bus loads of middle schoolers get off the bus after about a 3 or 4 hour ride from Miami, and they'd show up, and you can just imagine how they would be after a 4-hour bus ride, about 100 of them running all over the place. And a friend of mine had this African djembe, and Captain Barney is his name. Captain Barney is an amazing individual, and he would just start playing this rhythm. And within seconds, everybody's just hand clapping and focused in together. And I knew instantly that's what I needed to do. Well, about 5 years later, I kind of started moving out of the experiential education end of things and moved directly into the drumming. And that's been a love affair ever since.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So one of the things you said, I just took a workshop with you 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, when you were in Florida, and you said something that was really, I think, profound, where you said, you are the drum, and of course you made the correlation that we have a beat within us, with our heart, and our body has a beat, and that is, to me, one of the coolest things to think about. And then I have no rhythm whatsoever. I can't dance, and even though I was in music, I learned the math behind the metronome, and that's how I got by with everything. It's like I was doing the metronomic sound in my head. But there was something magical that happened for me a week and a half ago, because as we were playing those drums, I let go. And when I let go, I felt the rhythm with you. Now, probably wasn't in rhythm with you guys, but to me, I was. And I really had a moment. That whole 2-hour workshop you had, that was very healing for me, because I thought, if I let go, I bet you I could dance. I would stop looking like a flailing whale, moving around the dance floor. But to me, that was a beautiful, beautiful moment. My friend that I came with, we talked about that now about a week and a half. So what do you feel because that's sound healing. Could you talk about sound healing just for a second?
Sure. Well, when you think in terms of a drum and how it heals, there is the skin, a membrane on the outside of the drum, much like our own skin, right? We have a temple that we exist in, but the real work takes place inside the drum, right? It's the shape, it's the size of the cavity. John Stuart Reed, who is a pioneer in the field of cymatics, which is the visible representation of sound and what it does. And he discovered this in the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. And things worked out in a way that he managed to somehow crawl inside the king's sarcophagus, went in there with an ultrally injured back. He got inside and he started toning, and all of a sudden his body began to heal. And within 20 minutes, he was completely healed. I mean, he was hunched over. He came out of there standing erect. And from that moment, he had to go back. And so much in the same way, a drum, when it's tuned properly, will create resonances, vibrations, and beats that align with our true nature, our true being. So if you think of a drum that is, the skin is too tight, right? We feel that tightness around us. If we think of a drum that's too loose, then we're not vibrating at a higher level, a higher vibrational level. So very much in the same way, if we listen inside and we just breathe and we listen for what we can hear, and the external drum we play helps us discover that. So by playing that drum and listening inside, you begin to determine where is it in the body. And we talked about that, I know, in the workshop, where it is in the body that you're feeling something. What is the quality? You don't have to know what it is, but what's the quality like? Is it feel soft? Does it feel hard? Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Is it tight? Is it loose? What are the qualities? And then you just begin to work with that through the drumming. The drumming is just like our heart. It's a natural way to get back into alignment, rhithmically speaking. That's a lot of words around that. Did that make sense for you all?
That does make sense. Thank you.
Okay.
So maybe, I can definitely ask you more questions, but maybe can we do a demonstration?
Sure. I'm gonna step aside for 1 second. Actually, I can do it with these drums right here. I've got 2 drums. So most of the time, I like to play a hand drum, and I advocate for a lot of folks who are curious about drumming to try hand drumming. You're making that kinetic connection with the drum. It's an extension of who you are. So whatever you are experiencing internally will come out on the drum. But you can also do it with these 2 tom drums. So the first thing I want to do is remember to relax. And I hope the sound is coming through okay, so you can hear this all right. And all I'm looking for at this moment, when I'm not talking, is just to hear the even, what we call even-handed or even play. And as I'm playing, I just close my eyes and I go inside and I breathe. And I'm conducting a bit of a body scan on the inside. And I'm aware that there's a little bit of tightness around my heart center, which would correlate with the fact that I'm probably a little bit nervous being on screen here all alone. Because I'm used to being on a screen where I see everybody and I don't see you out there. So I just trust that you're there, and I'll breathe into that space as I keep on drumming. The other thing about drumming, even though I'm playing a steady rhythm, and it doesn't have to be steady, but none of us are static beings. We're dynamic. So as things change, our tempo may change. We may play faster. So as you play different tempos, you play faster or slower, you listen inside, you look for the change. And when things don't feel right, the drum is a vehicle, it's a tool that you can use, that you can actually just beat on, and it will signal changes to take place inside. Believe it or not, you're kind of restructuring the DNA in your body. It's being transformed. The body is, all of our bodies are vibrational beings. It's just energy that's vibrating and moving around. And so the drum is a perfect natural way, just much like, Jeremy, you mentioned the heart is a big drum in the center of our chest. And so if we can do the same thing by just listening into the heart, how is it beating? What does it feel like? What are the qualities? And if it doesn't feel quite right, then we just take a breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and extending the exhalation a little bit longer helps you go inside and relax a little more as you breathe into your big drum. So if you're here listening and you'd like to do so at home, feel free. We're going to take a breath in through the nose, holding it. And then just listening. When we exhale and let out everything that we don't need inside, that's all that energy that's swirling around that isn't keeping us finely tuned, keeping us balanced, keeping us feeling right. We release that energy, and then we just listen for the next cue. The body is a great teacher, and really drumming is mostly about listening and breathing. Making that mind-body connection is very palpable when we drum. We can share with each other, which is even a more exponentially powerful way to share our rhythms. We can help heal one another by drumming together. I was doing a festival a number of years ago when I just started on this path, and I remember that at this festival, it was a people's fair, and they said, we can't have drumming because it's too loud and it interrupts everything that's going on. I said, but you have musicians that play. And they said, yeah, but they play at a certain time in a certain way on stage, and people expect that. And I said, well, let's put the drums that way. So they put me on stage. And before you know it, I had brought all the drums I had at that time, which was about 150 drums. We brought all of them out, and everybody was playing. And suddenly that whole festival was vibrating. And in that moment, it just felt like our hearts were connected. We were vibrating as one. There was no separation between us. And I don't think there was, I can't say this with a great degree of certainty, but I believe that no one was feeling any pain in that moment, that we were just vibrating together. Smiles were everywhere. So it's a great tool for healing. It's a great tool for bringing about inner peace as well as outer peace in the body. So I'm looking to see, oh, there, Jeremy's back.
Well, you made me think of something, and I wanted to bring it up because when we were drumming, I remember we came in sequence, and there was I can't remember the drum you brought up, but you put it on the djembes, and it was like a steel drum.
Oh, the handpan, sure.
Yeah, and so when we started playing that, I noticed how there was 6 of us, and we were not hitting each other. We were literally, at first we were a little bit and you were like, you can all play at the same time. And you were like, and so, but I noticed how we didn't have to say anything. We were just in rhythm. So it started to make me think about healing and about how we're in healing. Dis-ease comes from our disconnection from each other, our disconnection from ourselves. And the drums bring us kind of in tune with each other, in tune with ourselves, which is what you're explaining, really. And so I don't know, it just really made me start thinking about that.
That's a really great observation, because if you think about the drums and where did they originate from, they came from nature, right? The first drums might have been rocks, but most drums that we think of came from trees. And so much like nature, drums work in the same way that, if you think about trees underground, right? They had these from the drum when a master drum was playing. Yeah, absolutely. You do hear things. I'm so glad for this observation. Someone says, I heard voices. I don't know if you can all see this. I hear voices coming from the drum when a master drum is playing it. I swear I hear the voices. Well, drumming is ancient, right? And drumming comes from an ancient place. And I always say, when you're looking to find a drum that's the right drum, let the drum call you. So you're in the right place if you're actually hearing things and it's calling to you. And so in the same way, that handpan that we played together, it does the same thing. And all we have to do is trust, much like our friends, the trees out in the forest that connect underground by their root systems. They naturally, inherently support one another. And human beings, I think, naturally want to support one another. Yeah, magical. It does touch you, and that's wonderful. So when we play together, if we just trust, and I think it's best without being conducted so much, because I think when we're conducted in music classes, when we're told, oh, maybe you shouldn't drum, you have no rhythm, you have 2 left feet, you shouldn't dance. Well, we hear those voices, and so all those influences have put up the walls around our natural ability to just be rhythmical beings that we are. So that's why we can bring out this handpan, which I'll just give you randomly, just playing this sound. Imagine if there were 6 of us around this handpan, and no one's thinking about what they're doing. You're just touching down on this magical instrument, and the instrument teaches us how to play it, and we just play together. And that's another thing. As humans, we are here to play. I fervently believe that. I think that's my biggest life lesson, is not to be musical, but to be playful. And music is about play. We call it returning to child. When we're young, when we were first brought into the world, we were innocent, we were perfect. And we weren't jaded by all the experiences and things, the traumas and things that scar us and prevent us from being freely ourselves. And again, that's why the drum, that's why the sound, that's why the music can bring us back to that space and bring us back into our natural state of being.
Yeah, that's so cool. And Yeah, thank you. That was my friend Kevin out of Fort Lauderdale, who's an incredible medium himself. Thank you for your comments and your observations and those what you had felt beautiful. So so there's just so much when we think about, being a musician myself. I was in drum and bugle corps. I played a bugle, not drums. I thought it was interesting how we got 126 people moving around this field, and we were doing these dead flat jazz runs, and the percussionists with their quads, their snare drums and everything else, they're in rhythm. And when you think about how much they're moving and all those drill designs and stuff like that, and imagine if we don't even have to go that complex, we could just go to one of your DrumQuest workshops and come. But you think about it, like, how often are we get into our heads. I think you mentioned on your website, we get into our monkey minds, which we all like to use that term, or we're stinking thinking, I guess is another term. And we get so caught up that we forget about this rhythm that is the universe and what is a spirit. And what I think is really cool is when I think about flow, I think about life as actually like a dance. And when, there's things that happen, right? Mm-hmm. You had, I'm sure you've experienced this, where things are like really low in your life, and then they're really high, and then they're really, all of us experienced that during the pandemic. There was things that I didn't lose my job during the pandemic, but I was sitting at home alone, which I'm not used to. And but you and I talked about those were blessings, right? They
absolutely. Throughout the pandemic, we all had to change and reimagine our rhythms. The rhythms of how we get up, the rhythms of how we start our day, the rhythms of what we think about and dream about, because we were kind of like in this place we weren't familiar with. And, for me, I was fortunate enough to be able to go out in the forest. I live in a beautiful place here in central New York where I can just go out and hike around, and nature sounds, nature smells, it just revitalizes me and restores me, and it inspires me to play more music. So that's what I did. However, you're right, Jeremy, that we kind of get to this place where we feel disconnected from one another. And I know that we're always looking at ways that we can do this. And one of the ways that we're with drumming even is we're beginning to find out that we can do a hybrid model. We want to get together in person to drum, but we can also do it via the internet. We have lots of social media. This is a wonderful format. Zoom is another platform, and we can use these ways in which we can still connect through the drum. I think what happens most is that we all want to feel connected. So even if we're not able to get together, it just makes our hearts open up, and like just to see your face makes me smile. I wish I could see all of your faces. I'm just going to smile anyway, trusting you're all there smiling back at me.
They are definitely smiling. Because I think actually Mitzi is watching, and she was at the Infinite Oneness. I'm pretty sure, if I remember, she was at the Oneness we had at Sacred Lands. And so I think that's really beautiful. And then we went to Felipe Park the next day. So
yes, I remember that. So once again, being in a nature-oriented place, with peacocks and the sea breeze and the music and the palms, it's magical. So getting outside, I guess I'm a little bit off the topic of drumming and sound healing, but it really is connected. Because that's where we originate. We connect to everything in nature. We connect to everything around us. And again, it's just going inside and listening. It's a grounding practice for me because, frankly, what you described in doing the drum bugle corps, I could never do because I have ADHD so badly that my brain overreacts to all that, mental information. So when I said, let's do a DrumQuest, it's about coming in and knowing we're going to start by making mistakes, because there are no mistakes. They're just learning opportunities as we learn together how to drum and flow together.
So you've said a couple really cool things that kind of parallel with what I believe very strongly and what I teach my own students is that you mentioned when there's something that's going on in the body, and you mentioned this in your workshop too, pay attention to your body. Because there could be like this tension, or this could be some pain or something like that. And to me, that's an opportunity to get in and look at it and say, wait a second, where am I? Let me move that around a little bit. I can work that out. But then you just mentioned something about the drums as well. And I always look at, hey, my mistakes, they're not really mistakes. And I get excited when I get jealousy that comes up, when I get when I start to flare up and get a little bit of, when I'm not as relaxed as I am, where I feel stress. To me, I get excited. I'm like, ooh, something to look at.
Yeah. And right there, you just the most important part of all, you just laugh, because when little kids make mistakes, what do? They laugh. They think it's funny. But in our adulterated minds, we don't do that. We don't do that enough and just let go and laugh. And if you remember when we got up in the during the workshop, at one point I said we need to move a little bit. So we got up and we got the sound instruments that I'd love to share a few of what I have in the studio in a few minutes. But what we did is we got up and we moved around. And really there was no specific way to do it. I just said, let's just mingle. Let's just listen. Let's see what comes out of it. And I think it's pretty magical personally.
Yeah. Kevin says he's got to go. He's a nurse anesthetist, so in the morning, he's got, I'm sure, surgery in the morning, so he's got to go to bed.
Rest well, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. It's great. I look forward to meeting you someday.
Yeah. So before we do that, how does somebody? You're in New York, but how does somebody book a DrumQuest workshop?
Well, you can go to the website and there is a contact form there, so you can reach out via the website. And the email address is info. Yeah, I hope it's working. I haven't been on there in a little while.
I think we go here to contact. Oh, wait, hold on. About me.
Oh, it's not showing up. Oh, no.
Oh, book an event.
There it is. Book an event. Thank you. I got it there. So there's an easy form to fill out, or you can, if you'd rather get to me quicker, just contact me at jim@drumquest.com. I'm on that email all the time. For some reason, the website email doesn't always come in immediately. So if you're looking to get in touch with me, if you just, and honestly, even if you don't want to book an event, if you just have questions about drumming or how it might benefit you in your life, happy to get back to you and try to support you in that journey. So thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't, if you're not thinking, well, Jimbo's in Syracuse, New York, and I'm in Miami or in California somewhere, there is an organization that I represent. It's called the Drum Circle Facilitators Guild. That's DCFG, Drum Circle Facilitators Guild. And if you go to that website, there's a listing for qualified individuals that facilitate, teach, and share all of their passion for drumming, and they're representatives from all of the states, in fact, all over the world. We have representatives from, I think, 37 countries. There you go. So you can look right there, and you can look up and find out where you can get to where it says "Find Facilitators." You can click on that, and then you'll get to somebody pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I'm going to put guys. I'm going to put this in the comments so that you can. It's the website, so you can just pull it up. So.
Sure. Now, I mentioned to you, Jeremy, that I would like to do some sound play. I think it's most of the time when I get on, I like to do something interactive. And because of the format, we can't do some of the same things I normally do. But I'm going to share a couple of tools that I give to folks to experience sound healing without having all these instruments that I have to play at my disposal. So the first tip that I want to share is simply do some breathing. Get quiet, get comfortable, and do some breathing. And in this way, again, we're going to breathe in through the nose. We'll hold it a moment and think of just extending the exhalation longer than the inhalation. So let's just do 3 of those. Maybe someone will chime in and have a comment for this. So we're going to take in a deep breath through the nose and slowly release. And allow yourself to release everything out of there. And notice what you feel as we take a second breath in through the nose. And again, notice yourself, what you feel, where you feel something. And then let's just take a third breath together. The sound, the feel of our breath is incredibly powerful, incredibly healing. I took a workshop. It was an 8-week workshop, a master class, and I spent quite a lot of money. I said, I'm going to invest in myself in this. And the thing that came out more importantly than anything in that 8 weeks is I discovered I took 1.25 million conscious breaths. Consciously breathing. If we think about connecting each breath, have an intention, breathing in healing, breathing in light, letting go anything that doesn't serve, and connecting those breaths. And the more you do that and realize that's all you need to do. There's nothing else. You are magnificent. You have everything you need. Yeah, we have external things that we look for to fulfill our lives, but everything we ever need is contained right in that breath. And that's a really good place for any musical practice, whether it's drumming or sound. The second little exercise that I'd like to quickly go through is nothing more than humming. There are many master sound healers that will tell you that the human voice, even if you think, well, I don't have a good singing voice. It's not about singing. It's about expression. The human voice, the sound of that, the resonance, the vibration of the human voice is extremely powerful. So I'm going to invite all of you, if you would like to, put your hand over your heart. All right. And we're just going to take a breath. And you're not humming to be heard. You're just humming to your heart. Just put that intention in there. All right. So we're going to breathe in and hum to your heart. And then just listen and notice what's taking place. What do you notice, Jeremy?
Calmness.
Calm. Yeah. Centering, right? Things come into alignment. Sound is so powerful. It comes into alignment when we intention it. There's a difference between sound and noise. Noise includes sound, but it's random. It's overwhelming, right? It's too overstimulating. Whereas sound, has the ability, and we have different levels of sound. You can try this. One other thing we'll try with your voice. I'm going to suggest that we try breathing in and then sirening. I'm going to demonstrate it, and then we'll do it together. So if I breathe in, that may seem pretty silly to you at home, but I guarantee if you give it a try, you're going to notice something pretty cool. All right. So you ready to do it with me, Jeremy, and everybody else out there? All right. So we're going to breathe in. Let's breathe in. We're going to do a siren together. Here we go. Breathing in. And just notice. Where do you feel it? Does the energy move? Does the sound move? What's moving inside of you?
I almost feel like if you were in a valley and you stood down in the valley to hear the echo coming, the reverb coming back, you can feel that in your body, and it's like reverberating, and so it makes a quietness. And
even in the quietness, even in the silence, there's always movement. There's always sound. There's an old saying that goes like this. It's like, you are never alone in the silence. Even in the silence, you're playing a duet with the silence, And so just listening, breathing, toning. And the third thing, and then I'd just like to give you about a 10-minute sample, if that's okay, if we have enough time to go there, is your name. Speech pathologists would say, we call it the phoneme, which is the elongation. It's the phonetic pronunciation of names. So most of us are used to just saying our name like this, like, hi, my name is Jimbo. Okay, that's nice. But what if I said it this way? Hi, my name is Jimbo. Or I extend it out even further. Hi, it's Jimbo. And you can see that you could keep going with this. There is a sound healer, Chloe Goodchild, does lots of workshops. She's down in Australia. She does amazing workshops with people just saying their names. And by the way, did you know that a lot of cultures where there are, like in Africa, and where they're like primal, still have tribal essence to their culture? Have you wondered why some of those, in those cultures, some people's names have like 8 or 10 or 12 names, and it might take them a minute to say their name? Because there is a resonance, a vibration. It's the essence of who you've been created to be. So if you can really embrace the sound of your name. Jeremy, are you game to give it one go with me?
Sure, well, let's do it.
Let's do it. So just start by saying first time, just hi, I'm Jeremy. And then each time elongate it and allow your voice, kind of like that siren, wherever it wants to take you.
Okay. I'm gonna put my hand on my heart then. Hi, I'm Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy.
Oh, I felt that way down to my toes.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. Really, you can feel that.
Absolutely. So I know, again, it really is child's play. So allow it to be child's play. Don't make it so serious, but just experiment with these things. And these are things you can do anywhere. You can do it, well, maybe not everywhere, but pretty much most places you can do that. Certainly in the comfort of your own home, you can do this.
I want Kevin, if he's still watching, when he puts his patient under with anesthesia, I want him to do it. If he's still watching, I want him to do it.
Oh my goodness! If you, I have another instrument. I brought it to the workshop, Jeremy. It's a Shruti box. Remember this? We call it a drone, right? And so you add the name. Did you ever know that your name was so beautiful sounding?
No, I didn't. But what's the other cool thing about it? I was just thinking about this. So
Yeah.
for those of you watching, some of you are like, I know some of you, because I know some of you probably watch. I know a lot of you that watch. You're probably sitting there going, I don't want to feel silly. And then if you have kids that are in bed right now because it's 10:40 at night, then I don't want to do this because there's. But I want you to say, like, of course I thought the same thing. I don't want to be silly with my name, and here I am live on my show. However, what was very freeing is exactly what Jimbo was saying: is playing. And then when I let go to do it, wow, the energy you could feel and the liberation from just having this moment of playing and being silly. And remember those times when you were a kid and you just let go. I remember, Jim, you probably remember this. We would turn the smallest little thing into the greatest game, and it was so much fun. And so as adults, we've lost that. So in that moment, I was playing, and it was very liberating.
Yeah, I have a 5 and 7-year-old nieces that I love to visit. I visited them a lot during the pandemic, and we make games with our hands. I just put my hand out and like, all these different slap, clap games, the claw, grab the hand. It's just being a kid again. And it's really, the world needs more of this. I wish people that in positions of power would play more. Maybe we should all just play drums, and I've said this. I think drums, if we were using weapons of mass percussion, we wouldn't pick up weapons of mass destruction. So I would like to propose that we all just drum for Ukraine, that we drum for the whole world, that, this is a way we can come into alignment. And you know what? We may not have to agree on everything because we all have different rhythms. That's a given, right? You didn't know whether you were exactly in the same rhythm when we were playing together, but yet it felt like we were all in that same space together, right? And once you're in that space, you can't help but feel for one another, be kind, be compassionate, and care. So,
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so as promised, I have an echo. Can you hear the echo?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay. So I wanted to share with your listeners and viewers that, I have this sound studio. I have a gong. I have Tibetan bowls. I have this hand pan. And so I always like to give you an opportunity to just let go yourself and just work on your breathing and noticing. If it feels good, you can put your hand over your heart. You can close your eyes, and I'm going to just go for about 10 minutes. I know we're extending it. I hope that's okay. And if you need to give me the signal, we'll cut it off, but we'll just finish that way. Okay?
Perfect. I'm going to go off camera, and I'll come back on in a little bit.
Okay. So, if you have your eyes closed, you may want to softly begin to open them. If you need to, wiggle your toes and your fingers to return to this space. I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like I get transported on some kind of journey when I'm in the sound. So
that was incredible, because there's times when, for those of you that were listening or watching, there's times where it was really soft and quiet, but it's like it was so relaxing and so, and, introspective, I guess is a better way to put it. But we had some comments that
yay!
Kimberly Wilkinson said beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Kimberly.
Many blessings to you, Jimbo and Jeremy, for this.
Wonderful.
Many blessings. And so, yeah, so everybody, if you want to know more about Jimbo, check out his website at DrumQuest.com, and he'll have more information there. And I think he mentioned his email address, which I have it here.
Jim at DrumQuest. Jim, Jim at DrumQuest.com. That's the quickest way to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you, Jeremy. This has been a rekindling of a wonderful journey together and relationship. And I look forward to the next chapter, whatever that may be. I'm excited. I'm excited for what you're doing, and I'm excited for what I'm doing, and I'm excited when we all can do what we do.
Absolutely. And so, everybody, thank you so much for watching. It's a blessing for me to do this show. And as you all know, you can watch archives of all the shows on the LA Tribune TV on Roku. And so many blessings, everybody, and much love. Lots of great shows. I will not be broadcasting next week because I will be on a flight to Phoenix. So, but I'll be back on the following week with a woman named Patricia McGivern from Tarpon Springs, and she's a wonderful woman. So we'll look forward to that. So much love, everybody, and many blessings. Bye-bye.